We're live on Facebook. Yes. Hi, everyone. Here's Astrid Mueller for you and Kavita Singh. And we got inspired to share a new universe thing. Of course, I can't stop rhyming. But yeah, we feel powerfully inspired to share something from our coaching world and from our own space. As impact coaches, a huge celebration of where we're at today, and also like connecting to the spaces where it literally felt like shit and like those things that we went through. So we're calling out shit. So Facebook, like, hello, we're swearing today. So I feel inspired. One graphic came to me just in a client conversation that I'm just starting this conversation with, as Kavita is sharing. She's sharing to our tribe, to our client tribe, and further to her group. So thank you for that, Kavita. So yeah, so we were in the client conversation just now where after the call, I got this visual that came to me that I want to share with you all. That was one thing that, okay, it looks like this. So this is the shit spiral. I'm sorry. So, right. So here's the thing, like we always have the choice in what space we want to move in, right? And sometimes when we're growing, we're pursuing our dream, right? And let me talk in the I form, because this is how it works for me. I pursue my dream business, right? And every time I want to grow, like I want to increase my income, or I have a new challenge, like I want to reach for other clients, whatever it is, it gets uncomfortable, right? So like something will happen, like fears show up, like old patterns of I can't do this, I'm not good enough. Like I had last week, I just had such a big moment where I shared like a blowfish graphic. I don't know if you guys caught that, but it was a moment where I was like, shit, am I good enough for this? I'm like, blah, blah, blah. I had all these things come up, right? And so what I could have done and did for a moment was like go down like this rabbit hole spiral of thinking and listening to my inner critic and like, oh my gosh, like blah, 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 blah. And I always have this choice of like what to do. Like, do I take this face value? Is this really the reality I want to keep as my reality, or do I want to choose a different thing? So I chose different things, of course. I choose to look for my power and look for the up level. I literally like kept looking up, like from the curiosity place of like, how can I empower myself? How can I create this belief for myself that I can do this? How can I find the belief that I already have deep inside when I let go of those things that limit me, all those things, right? So that's a big thing that I wanted to share, that we always have a choice. And then I wanted to celebrate, and Kavita, I'll give you a word in a second. I'm just on a roll. Bear with me 1 second. I am so grateful that I am now in such a space of having a really great, powerful support system around me that, and my inner growth is like been to such a place now where this takes me very little time to flip into this space. Like I am now, even when old patterns of fears show up, I recognize them super quick. I have support system like Kavita is one of my amazing coaches and co-creators. She calls me out. I have several close circle other coaches. I have super supportive friends, super supportive co-creator coaches, peers, masterminds, who also like hold space for my greatness. And we need all that. Like we can't, like before I was like doing my inner critic conversations by myself, and it was hard, and like, oh yeah, it helped me to some extent, but like having a support system, I just really want to celebrate that we get more and more powerful. We surround ourselves with amazing people. So Kavita, I'm just giving it to you because I don't want to do a monologue here. What comes up for you?
I love that you did the graphic. It's super powerful, and you're right. When we're with ourselves, right, we can all of us have the ability to contemplate and to reflect and to connect the dots, but we can only do so much with ourselves, because if we one of our beliefs, it's really binding us, like we feel like our hands are tied behind our backs and we're blindfolded, then even though we are aware of those things, sometimes it's hard to see how to untangle ourselves, right? And that's why your support system is so powerful. And so for me as well, I do turn to Astrid to reflect certain things. I also have other amazing women in my life, including people like Nina, and I do have all other sorts of, coaching and things. But each circle and group of people that I step into, for me, is an opportunity to yet again release another layer, or have the higher awareness of shifting into more of who I am and what I want, and really seeing the truths of yourself, right? And having the opportunity to be even more present and even more powerful, and to give and to receive. Yeah.
Yes. So I have another thing that I want to add to that, because visuals work for me so powerfully, and I trust that it also gives you something to hold on to. So why is this important? I feel inspired to share, like, well, why the heck are we doing all this stuff? Why do we spend so much time on all this stuff? Well, because when we are in the space up here, this is where magic starts to happen. This is where we are in our full power. This is where we are feeling amazing. This is where manifesting magic happens. This is where we live the life and the business that we dream of. This is where big fucking results happen. Sorry. Like, no, I'm not sorry. This is where we need to be if we really want to step in our power and create the life and dream business that we want to be in, right? So this is why we're talking about this, and this is the work we do and help our clients do. And we literally, like, I want to share from my own world that this is my main thing of, like, stepping into my best energy, into my highest power, into my inner growth, and putting so much focus on this, because Kavita and I literally, we up level every day. It's like what she's saying, like, because we learn so much, and then we can give so much more, and it's amazing. Like, really big things are happening in our lives. We have way much better clients, like big doors are opening. We're having way more fun. I actually have a lot of freaking freedom, just going outside and just having the life that I love, all that good stuff. Kavita, what's coming up for you? And we can wrap it anytime when we feel it's we're closed. We're just doing a channel, whatever comes to us, because we feel you all need to hear this.
Yeah. The reason why we're sharing this too is because we do a lot of behind the scene work, and in our human self, sometimes it just stays behind the scene and you have no idea. And so sometimes, even if you're in a position where you might be our client or might not be, there's always benefit for everybody. You can use our human stories to reflect to where you are or somebody and then you can also we can also probably inspire you into the things that we're reaching for. Or even if we created a contrast for you and you're like, oh, but no, I don't want it that way, it's also serving you. Because if we didn't offer you the contrast, you would not have been so clear in your desire. So that's the nutshell of the sharing, the power of sharing this. And Astrid, you mentioned about the frequency, and we're doing all of this because of the manifesting energy. And I love that you see it like that, because that's true in one way in which it shows up. But I've also seen that energy show up in another way, which is we manifest anyway. We're manifesting all the time, right? So good, bad, or ugly, we're manifesting anywhere. Like, so you're already in that frequency, but it's making that conscious choice about, well, what is it that I really want to manifest?
So if you're down here, you manifest shit. Sorry.
Yeah,
so having too much fun with this.
Yeah, so and the thing about it, those things are actually, you've got to love her, Leroy. Those things are actually there again to serve us. It's not that it's bad that I'm manifesting some sort of crappy situation, but it's more like, oh, cool. What is this? What's the lesson behind this? You know, what's the soul lesson behind this? It's the shadow stuff, the shadow work that you do as well. And then of course, when it's released and easy, then it's easy to reach for the stars kind of thing. All right. So be aware of where you are. One of the things that I feel called to share here as well is to remember that whatever you're in right now with your life,
You're talking about that, right?
yeah, whatever you are facing with in your life right now, it's about it's there to serve you. All right. So it's not about resisting it or all of that, but just being curious enough to see, well, what is the thing here? What can I learn from it? Am I able to get through this on my own, or is it necessary for me to ask for help? Yeah, right? Because we're designed to win anyway. That's our default design. But sometimes in the act of winning that thing, we're asked to call in the help we need, the extra support, right? Or change lanes into looking at something differently in a different perspective. And then we can overcome that, obstacle. So, and sometimes it's about going further up and reaching for the stars, or sometimes the inner work might take you deeper into even more crap, right? So that you really, really get to the root of the problem. Because if you really have that sort of intention, then you can release that pattern for once and for all, and then you're free, right? But here's the thing: when you release it, it doesn't mean it doesn't show up. It's one of the things.
I'll explain it in a minute.
One of the things that happen, it's like having this buffet, but where you have all the choices, all the things you can choose from. And then the difference is, once you release the pattern, you don't choose it anymore, right? You're aware enough to not choose it and not play that game. But if it is that you are in the pattern, or you're tied to it, then you will always be the one tagging along whenever the pattern shows up, right? You'd always be tripping yourself up. So I hope that helps. Go ahead, Astrid.
Yeah, I knew like we were talking about this. So I just wanted to reflect something that Kavita often says, that even if something feels like really heavy or like crap, and we feel like, gosh, I already learned this, right? Like I just had like another moment like this week where I was getting frustrated. I was telling Kavita, holy crap, how many times do I have to hear that same thing? And not necessarily from you, Kavita, but just like that. It was the conversation about manifesting, and I was like, and my mind is getting it, but why does it keep percolating? It's like, I was just getting mad, right? So it was in one of those moments where literally I was actually, this is a reflection of our growth, right? We have a pattern where like, here's something feels heavy, like we go down and then we actually find a gem, but like we do keep coming, we're always in a new space. That's why what I'm showing here is like, even if the pattern like shows up again, like I know more than I did that last time, and like, oh, suddenly it's like I'm feeling it actually in my core, and it's like really resonating energetically with me, something that I'm learning, or whatever, or suddenly like, yeah, I am actually manifesting like something really huge. And so like we're never in the same space. We're always, like Kavita also just said in a session we had, is like we're always a new person, a different person. We know more. We're always expanding. I want to say one thing real quick. It's like this whole thing, you may wonder, like, why are you guys doing so much of that? Like, this is our passion. We literally are on a mission to change the world. We like, this is our passion to like be so empowered that we can empower others, all of you, to also pursue your dream. And we do more of that work than some of you may, and that's okay, right? Like that also means that you get to benefit if you hang out with us. yeah, it's obviously for all of you. If you have a big dream, you want to grow, you want to really feel fulfilled in your heart, and do and be who and what you came here to be, and what you want to create and see in your life. So that's when the inner growth work really, that's how you get there, and enjoy the journey along the way.
Yeah, yeah. And again, reflecting what Astrid is saying, is sometimes you don't need to go that deep, because it's just easier for you. Your pattern is not that deep, right? And so you can just, with the snap of a finger, you can release a pattern. You don't have to go that deep, and you don't have to make it a struggle or any of that thing, right? And so we all have our own personal journeys. It's not about, you know, who's better than who kind of thing, but it's more that for us, we're a reminder of what it looks like in our lives, just being transparent in what's going on in our world, because we're guilty of not sharing that often enough. So that's what we're doing. And we're trusting that you take what resonates and leave out the rest. And if there's anything that you want to play with us with and step into our circle, then you also have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
And with that being said, we've had some huge wins this week as well that we want to cover. For me, it's definitely a pattern of anger that I have had residing in the 15-year-old version of me when I was much smaller, and that has come up this week, especially to be released. And I'm glad that I was aware of feeling it, because that's how I receive it first, and then I tried to bring the words to put it on the table, and I got some nudges from Astrid and Anna to move forward, and then I realized that I had to go deeper with this pattern. And so I asked Nina, who's another coach that I work with, we were talking and she recognized it, and she actually called me out with it. So I went deep with that, and she was able to touch the surface of that, from the surface into the root of that, and have that cleared. And so that was super helpful for me. And the reason I'm saying this is because one of the fun things in how my soul works is that I love to connect the dots. I love to show you the patterns and the reasons behind the things and the soul lessons. And while I do that for everybody, and I do that for me in some extent, like as I'm speaking, and I can do it for myself. But then when this particular pattern was coming up, even though I knew the feeling of it at that point that I was having the feeling, I was not aware of the why, like where it was coming from, because that was when I was 15. From I started meditation at 16. From 16 to now, I've been meditating. I've learned love and compassion and all the tools, and it's been amazing. I've done so much forgiveness work and all the things. So I wasn't able to touch it, that this pattern was so hidden, right? But it didn't need to resurface either. It wasn't a problem all along, and it didn't need to resurface. The reason why it came up now is because I've changed an element of my desire, and that is honoring my true inner power in my soul, as my soul essence. And in order to do that, this 15-year-old version of me was actually keeping some of that energy. It was trapped in that time and space, so to speak, right? In that memory. And so I needed to now release that and have that part of me merge with who I am today, right? And because that was what I was being called to do, that's the only reason that it came up, and it was showing up in a way, it was very subtle at first, and I recognized it and I asked for help, right? So for me, that was a huge win in itself. Astrid, do you want to share too?
I quickly want to share. I love that you're being so vulnerable and sharing that publicly, like role modeling that. I feel is a huge inspiration for whoever catches this. And I want to give a quick mirror, if you allow me, on the side of like what that does, because I know that you felt like when we release something, we literally get a weight off our shoulders. So Kavita is like more free now to be just feel amazing and like to step into her next level of power, right? And like and that is actually part of like, as Kavita and I, we do a lot of things together in our coaching, and like the more power we have, the bigger we can play. And like we have like better client, well, quote unquote, like more aligned clients showing up, like playing, like the clients faded out. I guess that's what I'm celebrating. Like we had, because of all of our up levels and inner growth and intentions and releasing and being in this journey, embracing all of it, we literally had a huge shift, that some clients that I've had, like I closed programs that where I was in a different space. Like clients weren't fully playing big, like things kept like circling. I'm like, I'm not serving them if I keep this open. I needed to like totally let things go, and I did. And some clients faded away for now. And others came in, right? Like bigger, like ones who, like, I really want to celebrate that we had clients come back. One just said yes this week, who totally was in a really challenging space at the beginning of the year when she started with us, and then she faded away a little bit and had to go through her own journey. But she said yes, and like we're, oh my gosh, I'm just so happy. Like we have like a powerful adventure contract now where we really invite our clients to, are you really in? And when they're in, they're in. And like we're not all playing bigger now. And this is because, among other things, we all do that work on ourselves, and we give it back to our clients as well. So yeah, more power to everyone. That's what I'm celebrating.
Yeah, that's amazing, Astrid, with this. And you know, one of the visuals that came to me as you were saying that, it's not so much fading away, but like think of it as if we're in the amusement park, and so somebody's in a car, but it goes around the circle, right? And so we meet at this point and we're playing together, and then the circle goes that way and we go our separate ways, and then
like planets.
we go somewhere else and we bump into each other again, and we play in that period, and then we separate. So everybody has to have their personalized journey, whatever that looks like, and you will have different people, but it's so much fun. Like for all you women and men who know us, and you know, done sessions with us in whatever way and form, it's always been amazing, because when we look at the core value of what you bring to the table and see the alignment of your soul in our own core values and beliefs, it's so much fun to look at. And regardless of your human stories, of if you know you feel trapped in this moment or you feel willing to play, we honor and recognize that car, I don't know what game you call it, but it's such a fun game where we play with each other and then go separate for a little bit and then come back again, right? Because every time we meet again, we're
I want to call it universe, planet, system game or whatever, because it's like galaxy shifting and
yes, exactly. So it's really trusting that and see where you are, and knowing that regardless of if you're in or out of our circle, you're always part of our hearts, because we made a connection with you. You're there, you've made your mark. You know, we do think and remember you, and we do, whenever we do our universal blessing kind of thing, you know, we always send sparkles to everyone, and especially you would be on top of the list because you've been part of our connection, right? So it's really celebrating that, and it's so much fun, because when Astrid and I decide to do that as well, you see how much she loves her sparkle frequency and that energy, and she can get into that beautiful, joyful energy, and that's what she's here to represent for us. Sometimes I might seem more mellow or calm, or sometimes I might just come up a bit more forceful or whatever it is, but we tend to interplay our roles. And,
I started the call with shit today.
And
the shitstorm.
and with our clients, I mean, especially if you've played with us, you know, especially with more than one calls, you will see that sometimes, you know, we just play and shift roles sometimes, and the fun part about all of this too is that we love that we have honed our energy so much and tweaked it that we can see when we have the power to say something and have it happen. Like, you know, that's the level, and that's the kind of lifestyle we want for you as well, where your word has that kind of power that you're able to like declare something, claim it, and have it happen for you.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty powerful. It's also the kind of power that comes with some sort of inner responsibility. So you can't be, even though you're having like a shitstorm of thing happen to you, you're not in the sense disintegrating, but you're able to brave through the storm and collect the gems and keep you know going on, because you recognize that that's part of the adventure. So here's another drawing that's coming up.
Yes. So I feel we're coming to a close, but because we share a little bit publicly, like a little glimpses, but we always have huge magic happen for us every time Kavita and I connect. Something amazing comes out of it every time. And I wanted to share one example, and then I'll share what I mean by this crazy thing. So when Kavita and I do, we do work together, we always do debrief afterward. And we do a lot of visualizations. And when we do for our own intentions and our next, I would call them sparkle strategy moments. We do that pretty much every day, during the days that I work, which is like only 3 days per week. But when we do that, we do visualizations, and like they are like quantum magic space visualizations where we meditate and see and feel. We stand in that energy of serving the planet in a bigger way and having our amazing impact change maker clients just line up and come our way, and whatever the topic is of that day, as we play rhyming anyway. Sorry. When we're in that space, here's an example of the magic that happens. Like we always get, it's pretty much every time we get like message pings show up, clients message us in that very moment. Like it's all energy magic, right? So I was just told last week that I'm a unique gem. Like I have something unique to bring to this world that nobody else has. And like I'm like the vibe raiser, all from the energy of play. I can help impactpreneurs really raise the vibe for themselves, but also for their tribe, and to play big with the universe, right? So Kavita has her own, and this is what like where I'm going to the graphic. Kavita has her own amazing magic. She's an amazing energy reader and mindset shifter and channeler. Like you channel the most amazing wisdom. Like you connect. I take a lot of sessions from Kavita for myself too. She connects like higher intuition, like to extended masters, all kinds of amazing magic. So we have our own brilliance basically. And when we do coaching, I want to share that example. Like we basically fuse our magic, and what happens is like expanded energy. It's like even bigger stuff happens. It's like, this is actually scientifically proven. If you're still in like playing with the rational, like what? It's measured. There's books about that energy amplifies when you don't need that many people, but if it's more than one person, it's huge, the impact it already makes. So in the coaching that we do, and I just made this small because I ran out of space. It's not any judgment or anything. We can go like this. So if when we work with clients, this is what happens. Like that energy, like you bring your own brilliance that we see that oftentimes you don't see yet because you're in those shadow spaces or heavy space or whatever, but we see your potential, we see your brilliance, and you bring that energy and we amplify together. And can you imagine, like, So that's what we do. We do play big magic, and I'm going to share the link here. If you feel called to test us out, to meet us, we can chat. You can directly book a session. I'm sharing the link as well. And yeah, so that's what I felt inspired to add here since we're talking.
Sure, no problem. And yeah, the thing about it too is that in playing with us, it doesn't have to be that you are feeling heavy. It can also be that you're as light as a feather and you float away because it's so easy for you and you just want to have a like-minded circle, right? That you can validate your ideas and your intuition. So so you can do that as well, if that's what you're calling. But your heart knows, your soul knows if this is if we're on the same wavelength, if we're the same soul circle, and reach out to us.
Yeah, that's all. And this is part of the stuff that I may do in our coaching session together. Anyway, yeah.
Astrid is super creative. I don't have the magical hands. I prefer to play with the words and the energy in different ways. So I am so appreciative of her gifts and her creativity and her ability to bring the concepts and to put it onto drawings and writings on paper and all the things that she does and all the creative magical elements that she brings into her physical practical world. And even to the point where I tell her that my kids would just love to have her next door where they can do all that.
And I don't know how to deal with kids. I'm like, I don't have any kids. I'm just my own kid. Yes. Grown-ups.
Yes. And that's why her playful energy is so contagious and magical, and it's a gift to the world, because we forget sometimes how to be light and playful. So that's her special magic that she's bringing to the table, right? As well as, by the way, she's also a brand designer and she does that kind of stuff. So she's super practical and strategic and all that stuff too. So she knows that stuff. But it's just, again, a lot of fun because she has a different skill set than I do. But yet we do that dance of, the infinity thing. And you get to experience all of it. So looking forward to talking to you soon.
Thank you, Kavita, for this amazing shower of kudos. I'm like, I know the power of receiving, so thank you so much. Yeah, you're no less magical. You're just as magical. We're all, thank you.
Yes, and our magical tribe who's catching all of this. We love you.
Yeah, we love
you.
Talk
again soon.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.